The deepest betrayal of the United States is not in a bad law or a corrupt politician. It's in the quiet, calculated rewriting of our origins to convince Americans that the nation's legitimacy comes from God rather than from the people. This is the weapon at the heart of modern American conservatism, a story they have told so often, so loudly that many take it as unquestionable fact, and yet, if you strip away the propaganda, the simple truth is that the founders built a government rooted in Enlightenment reason, deliberately excluding religious authority from the machinery of the state. To pretend otherwise is not only bad history, it is the dismantling of the Republic itself. The Enlightenment's central political breakthrough was that sovereignty flows upward from the people, not downward from a throne or an altar. That's the core of the social contract. A government exists only by the consent of the governed, and its laws must be justified through reason and mutual agreement. The founders absorbed this directly from Locke, Montesquieu, and Rousseau, and they applied it with precision. That's why the Constitution contains no invocation of God, no scriptural mandate, no religious test for office. The only mention of religion is restrictive, a prohibition on entangling it with political power. This is not oversight. It was design. To reverse this principle, as modern American conservatism does, is to change the operating premise of the country. When you claim America as a Christian nation, you assert that its authority is not derived from the people, but from divine mandate. The implications are not abstract. If God, or more precisely, a political faction's interpretation of God, is the source of law, then disagreement becomes heresy, dissent becomes sin, and equality becomes negotiable. The Enlightenment replaced religious absolutism with universal rights grounded in human reason. The Christian nation myth swaps that back out, sliding us toward a system where law answers first to theology. This inversion is why the myth is so effective as a tool of authoritarianism. A secular republic can be challenged on its logic, its fairness, its evidence. A state claiming divine sanction cannot. It doesn't have to win the argument. It only has to declare that God is on its side. Once you accept that premise, the rights of religious minorities, non-believers, and even dissenting Christians become expendable. This is the same fusion of political and religious power the founders knew from Europe's wars of religion, from the persecution of dissenters in the colonies, and from theocratic rule in their own lifetimes. It is exactly what they designed the Constitution to prevent. The betrayal is doubled when this myth is wrapped in the imagery of patriotism. By pairing the flag with the cross, modern conservatism has created a hybrid symbol that seems to honor both, while corrupting the meaning of each. The Republic becomes a religious project. The religion becomes a tool of state power. And the result is that loyalty to the Constitution is judged not by adherence to its principles, but by conformity to a theological vision the founders explicitly rejected. In that environment, Jefferson's cut-down Bible becomes un-American, Madison's wall of separation becomes anti-Christian, and the Treaty of Tripoli's plain declaration that the United States is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion is ignored entirely. From an Enlightenment perspective, this is a reversion to pre-revolutionary thinking, a retreat from the hard-won realization that no human being has the right to rule another by divine claim. The founders did not free America from monarchy only to see it bound to the altar. They understood that human reason is universal, that rights do not depend on faith, and that moral law can be defended without appealing to supernatural authority. This was not hostility to religion as a personal belief. It was hostility to religion as an instrument of political control. The Second Great Awakening in the 19th century began the process of erasing this truth. recasting the revolution as a Christian uprising and the founders as pious men chosen by God. That rewrite has been refined over generations until today it serves as the moral justification for policies that erode civil liberties, deny equal protection, and impose sectarian morality through law. The irony is almost unbearable. The very men whose ideas conservatives claim to defend would, by their own writings, be cast as enemies of the modern conservative project. What makes this the most fundamental betrayal is that it strikes at the root. The Enlightenment principle of popular sovereignty is the cornerstone of the American experiment. Undermine that, and everything else, free speech, due process, separation of powers, becomes negotiable. The Christian nation myth doesn't just distort history. It rewires the source code of the Republic so that the people no longer stand at the top. In that rewritten system, rights are not inalienable. They are granted conditionally, filtered through a sectarian lens, and withdrawn when inconvenient to the ruling creed. This is why the fight over historical truth is not academic, it's existential. If Americans accept the myth, they will accept the erosion of the very freedoms the founders risked their lives to secure. If they remember the reality, they can see the manipulation for what it is, an attempt to trade a free republic for a pious tyranny. From an Enlightenment perspective, the choice is not between faith and godlessness. It's between self-government and submission to authority that answers to nothing but itself. The founders knew that liberty dies when sovereignty is claimed by anything other than the people. Modern American conservatism's weaponization of the Christian nation myth is at its core the theft of that sovereignty. It is the unmaking of the American Revolution under the false banner of protecting it. And unless we confront that lie directly, with the same clarity as the founders themselves used, we risk becoming exactly the kind of nation they warned us never to be.